I get about over 200 views to my LinkedIn profile every day. A lot of people think that when you search LinkedIn, you're searching the entire LinkedIn database, but you're not. You're only searching your LinkedIn network. And that LinkedIn network goes out 3 degrees. And so if you want to be found and you want people to find you, you need to make sure that you're in as many networks as possible. And so what I'm saying is not aim low and wide. Don't connect with strangers or people that you dislike intensely, but definitely make sure that your online network is reflective of your offline network. Another great tip with LinkedIn is join as many groups as you can. And you can join up to 50 groups. So max out your group membership. And the reason for that is when you join a group, all of those members are added to your LinkedIn network. I can't tell you how many times people have contacted me and they say, Donna, LinkedIn is useless. I've been on it for years. My phone has never once rung. Never once rung. And then I look at their profile and they haven't included their phone number. You need to include your contact information. And don't just include it in the contact fields because that's only viewable to your first degree connections. You want to make sure your contact information is in your summary. It's at the bottom of all of your job descriptions. So when a person is really looking at you and really interested and they want to make that connection, they want to learn more, they can easily pick up the phone and call you.
Welcome to Together We Serve. What a cool video.
Looking down the...
Excuse me for that. There we go. Welcome to Together We Serve. A little technical difficulties, but I'm excited to have my guest on. All you entrepreneurs out there that want to brand yourselves, here's a cool way of doing it in multiple different ways. She is a rock star. I even had people asking me when she was going to be on the show because, as you can see from the video, she's educating people. And simply, I learned a thing I didn't know about groups. Guess what? I'm going to start growing groups. That's how smart this girl is. Plus, you know what? She's a servant's heart. She wants to help as many people as she can. So welcome to the show, Miss Donna.
Mr. Steve, how are you today?
Incredibly well. And you?
I'm good. I'm doing really good.
Let's start with LinkedIn since that's the video I showed. Branding. Well, let's go back to branding. How important, whatever way you brand, is it for an entrepreneur?
How important is branding for an entrepreneur? Well, everyone has a brand, right? Everyone already has one. The art of branding is really to say, hey, I want to control how others perceive me. I want to make sure that I'm putting myself out there in the right way. So, if you're fine with how people are perceiving you, naturally, that's fabulous. But for most people, we want to make sure that we're pointed in the right direction and we're getting the right judgments and the right opinions. So, in that regard, I think it is important. It's the right thing to do, especially because it's no longer just how you show up in a room. It's now how you show up online and in a room and, all over the place. So it's a good thing to take notice of.
I always love this question with branding, marketing people. What's the difference between branding and marketing?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm sure there's some very snazzy quotes that talk about, to me, branding is really just, it's that sense. It's what people think of you, how you present yourself, when a person is looking at, and I think it was like, who was that? Steve Jobs, who said, branding is what people think of you when you're not in the room. Yeah. Whereas marketing is a little different. Marketing, in my mind is it's really about talking very specifically about your product and your, and educating people and selling people. Whereas branding, it's a little bit different. It's getting more of that know, the like, the trust going.
Yeah. That's a pretty snazzy answer. I'm liking it. And Steve Jobs is talk about, if he was still alive today, the stuff he would be doing in this world.
Oh, could you imagine what he would be doing with AI right now?
Oh, Donna, this crazy. I'll just leave it at that. I want to know a question I never asked you before. What's your superpower? Because everybody has a genius or superpower, but a lot of people don't know what it is. What is yours? Because I know you know what yours is.
I think my superpower is, and this has happened a number of times just recently, where I was I come up with some good brand quips very quickly, and it just sort of comes out of me so I think that's it. And so I was just recently, I was working with our local government. We had to create this, we had this big community uprising here where I live. And I'm on the phone with our township supervisors. And I said, we've got to say no way to Chick-fil-A. And suddenly it's plastered everywhere. And they were like, you're really good at this branding thing. And I'm like, yeah, I think I am. I think that's my superpower. I've just been doing it for 20 years, but there you have it.
That's a big superpower, because that's the power of you, that somebody goes, I need a moniker, tagline, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are huge. Talk about words in marketing like that, how they could make it be a game changer.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my superpower. I used to think it was other things, maybe patience, maybe kindness, but I think I can absolutely say it's the art of branding and helping people tell stories and be memorable.
So words can destroy marketing or uplift it. How?
Wait, say that one more time. That was really good, but I want to make sure I really got it.
Yeah. Words can destroy your branding and marketing, or it can uplift your branding and marketing. Why?
Why? Oh my goodness gracious. I will say this. I think it goes to a fear that most people have, and especially with LinkedIn. I think a lot of people are scared to really put themselves out there, because they're afraid of posting the wrong thing, of saying the wrong thing, of upsetting people, of making a mistake and being seen by their colleagues and their employers and all of that. And so it is true. I mean, words can make or break, your brand. But I also think we need to focus more on, it's important to show up. It's important to try. And really LinkedIn is a fabulously kind network. And I think it is okay. I think as long as the words that you use are not hateful, that it shows that you're really trying to do good and be like you, that servant leader.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be safe. I think you're going to be okay. You're not going to destroy anything.
Well, I agree with you, Donna. I was afraid to put stuff on there because I was going to upset somebody, but I realized I may do that, but that's not everybody. If you don't, right? I mean, it's
actually you're going down a really good path too, because haters aren't that bad. You haven't made it until someone hates you. And you know what haters stands for?
I don't know.
Having anger towards everyone reaching success.
Superpower. Superpower came up again.
I didn't come up with it. That's someone else did, but that's something that I always remember.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that do. They have anger and hatred, to people who are trying and doing good and really reaching and they do come after you sometimes. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that, there's someone else out there who's hurting, and they've turned their crosshairs on you, and hopefully maybe you can help them. Or maybe, they'll go away.
Yeah. And there's those three things you shouldn't talk about: politics, religion, and I forget the third one. Do you remember the third one? Somebody always
definitely know politics and religion.
Yeah, maybe I just.
I don't know what the third one. What do you think the third one would be?
Maybe it's me. Don't talk about me in social. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No, and that's good, because it really becomes divisive when you bring those two into it. And that to me are so personal that, keep those personal. And I think that's a good lesson you taught me.
But at the same time, I mean, it depends on what you're doing and who you are, and I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, hey, I want to find my tribe of people, and maybe they are Christians or Muslims or, what have you. You have to recognize that you are limiting yourself, but there's a lot of business out there. So, I think you can to an extent. I mean, it just depends upon who you are and what you're trying to accomplish.
Well, I appreciate you correcting the host because that makes a great guest. Because I make mistakes like everybody else. You're and absolutely right. I even think about that. If that's your goal, religion or politics, but just don't be hateful with it, I guess is
Yeah.
probably where I'm going with that.
And recognize that you're going to put forth your opinion. People are going to give you theirs, and it might be contrary. It might, it is what it is.
Yeah. What's the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make on LinkedIn?
I think, I think one of them is they think, oh, let me get on it. Let me copy and paste an old out of date resume. Let me, pop in from time to time. And that's it. That's, they're busy. They got other things going on. And believe me, business is good. But I do think the biggest mistake is just not giving it enough time and recognizing that there's a lot of people who are on it and they are going onto LinkedIn and they're looking at you. They want to learn more about you. And here's your chance to tell your story. And you can use LinkedIn in a rather lazy way if you want to. I mean, it's not like you have to be there every day, but I do think it's a platform to check a little bit more often than maybe you think about it.
Yeah, I like that because there's no one size fits all. It just doesn't work that way. So whatever fits you is great.
In some ways, I like it when a person pops in, with some regularity, but maybe not every day. Those people who post every single day, it must be wonderful to have so much time on your hands.
Yeah, that's true. And it is, I always talk about revenue generating activities. It can be, but make sure that it is if you're spending that much time. I think you would agree.
Yeah. I mean, it is about revenue generating activities and helping people and doing the right thing. It's, you don't want just busy work for busy work's sake.
Yeah. LinkedIn changes a lot. You taught me that, which was such a great tip you gave me when I met you. I loved when you were on my podcast. A lot of people did. What's some of the things that have changed today with LinkedIn that you might want to tell people to be aware of?
Oh my goodness gracious. There's so many changes every day, it seems.
Wow.
And in some ways it's good. I think change is a good thing. Let's see, what's a recent change? Like I really miss the profile videos. I love that. They took that away, which makes me a bit sad. I love that they changed on the profile. It's a little easier now to stay in touch with people through the bell button in the upper right. They've changed the way that works. And I like that. So when you connect or you follow someone and they're a person who maybe they post with some regularity, maybe not a lot of frequency, but with some regularity, and you want to always make sure that you're up to date with what they're posting about, you can go to their profile and click the bell in the upper right. That's a great thing.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
I love on the mobile app how you can go into the edit of the intro card area, and you can add a name pronunciation for yourself. It's so underutilized, but
Yeah.
I think that's a great thing, and it's not new, but it's one of those things that very few people use.
Wow.
I'm looking at your profile right here, and you've got that verification shield. And I think that's wonderful because there's so many fake accounts on LinkedIn and duplicates that a person couldn't delete. So to have that verification badge, I think that's another really great feature that allows a person to know, okay, this person really is real.
Kudos to me. Yes.
Yeah.
You made me an expert on LinkedIn. See, that's how good she is. But
Yeah.
here's the thing that comes to my mind now is it's changing so much. How do we keep up with it besides hiring you?
The way you keep up with it is you use it. And I've got to tell you, as much as it's changing, it's just like it's little things that'll come and go or get tweaked at this point. We're not seeing like these huge functionality changes. So really it's just getting in there and using it and having fun with it. And when you do that, it's in some ways, like I'm sitting here and I'm like, what was the last major big change? When you're on it so often, it all becomes almost rather natural, and everything starts to feel new again. So it's not like I can, the changes become rather normal.
Yeah, I even got asked this morning. This is a great question. She asked me. I didn't have an answer, but she's changing her business, her entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
It's of course it's important to change it, but should she engage and post before she makes the change or after?
Is there like a big deadline? Is she working towards something, or is it
No, it was
just in her head?
going in a different direction. How
You know,
she wants to brand herself.
Yeah, I believe it's important to have credibility before visibility. And so if she gets visible and her profile is still reflecting an older version of herself, that's going to, cast some doubt on who she is and what her message really is. So I would say really make sure that the profile reflects this new direction and this pivot, so that when she does start to talk about it and everything aligns.
Yeah, and that's I could see the visibility of that, because I don't like inaction. I work with entrepreneurs all the time, like you. That's, to me, is the biggest bugaboo. Oh, I can't do it. My profile's not ready. Well, if you take 6 weeks off LinkedIn, you've kind of lost your energy, your momentum, because you haven't changed take the action, change your profile, start posting, engaging, and doing it. I love that. It's so cool.
It's so hard though to write about yourself,
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you get into that procrastination where you just procrastinate. So I'm with you, but I also recognize why it's hard for people,
Yeah, and thank you for clarifying. I'm not saying you're a bad person because you took 2 days, but when you talk to somebody 2-3 weeks in a row, I haven't launched my podcast. I'm like, yeah, I gave you the tools.
Yeah.
Run with it. You give people tools or tips and whatever. Run with it. So I love the video. I know you said it was older. Let's just
it was. Guess how old it was.
How old was that?
I think 10 years.
You look younger today.
Oh, thank you.
Holy mackerel. See that, audience?
When you played it,
go ahead.
Yeah, when you played it, I was like, wow, this is still
Good.
pretty current. It's up to date. It's not too out of date. So,
like I said, the group. So I want to ask, how are you getting 200? Remind me what it said. 200
views a day.
Views a day. That's
200 views a day. Yeah,
that's powerful.
Yeah, and that at that point in time, that was really impressive. That was most people were getting maybe 5 views.
Yeah.
But that was back when you could really see it. Like, it was right there on your profile. It was much more blatant than it is today. But the way back then, the way I did it isn't much different than the way I do it now, which is you have a profile, you make sure it's optimized. You make sure you've got the right keywords in there. So if someone is searching for you, they're going to click, right? They're going to find you. I do it through making sure, again, that if I do turn up in those search results, my profile is one that's more intriguing than the others. So a person, again, feels compelled to click, to open it. I also make sure that, I'm posting with frequency. Sometimes I am doing it every day. Sometimes I'm doing it 3 times a week. And there are times when it might just be once a week, because I've just got so much business and so many things happening that I can't give it the time that I really feel it deserves. And so, but I do try to always show up, and I try to show up in a manner where it's never overly salesy. It's never overly like I'm taking from people, or I'm asking people to, to do something. For me, it's always about, can I make a person laugh? Can I make a person smile? Can I educate them? Can I add value? Can I inspire? Can I motivate? And that's what I'm always trying to do. And I think people see that, and they see me showing up. I think enough times people will say, I got to learn more about who this crazy lady is. And then they click to check out the profile.
Man, that's a brilliant tip. My God, because once I learned that, my engagements are off the charts. And I think people want to see that,
Yeah.
and feel, like, oh my God, what an inspiring quote Donna put on there. I didn't even think about that. I'm going to take a look at it, or maybe I engage with you.
Yeah.
Because I call LinkedIn, I don't know if anybody else calls it, this might be my superpower, is it's a cocktail party. When you
Yeah.
do a cocktail party, you engage. What do you do? Hey, what do you do? Well, you know what? Let's get together next week. Let's have coffee. Or, hey, you hear this funny joke? Or did you see this movie? Or, hey, did you see this quote from Steve Jobs? That's what I look at it as. If you treat it that way, that's what you do at a party. And, you go to, it's a business cocktail party.
Yeah.
But,
And what I love about what you're saying is it's a cocktail party. So, but imagine yourself as the host of the cocktail party. And as you see people come in, you welcome them. Maybe you make introductions to other people. You trumpet them. You say, "Oh, and this is so and so, and this is what he or she does for a living," and figure out ways that you can connect them with other people. So be a really good host at that cocktail party. That, I think, is the real secret piece of it.
see, great guests make the host look even better. I love it. No, I'm half kidding, but I love that because that's what it is. I'm the host, bringing stuff to people, whatever it may be, gifts everywhere, whatever that looks like. I want to shift gears because I have a good friend, Deb Sluice. Shout out to Deb. She's a vision board expert as well. I think people talk about vision boards for years.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about vision boards and the power of them.
Yeah. So my company is called Vision Board Media. And I came upon that name, my original name of my company. I think I told you this when we were when I was on your podcast. I was really dreaming so small, back in the early days. I just never thought that my business would get to the point that it is today. And so I had given it just my own name. Like, it wasn't anything, important. And so I remember coming upon the name Vision Board Media because I saw my team as this board of directors for professionals and executives. And so we are helping them, dream big, achieve their vision, have success, and we're there to help them, and lead them and inspire them. So that's the name of the company. It's Vision Board Media. And we don't make vision boards for people. Some people, they're like, "Hey, are you going to make me a vision board?" No, what we do is we create the branding. So we're helping with the resume and the LinkedIn profile and the bio, and we're writing blogs and posts and articles. We're doing all of the things that, so in a way, you think about it, the vision board is, there is the true vision board where you're like, these are my dreams. This is what I want to accomplish. This is the reality that I want to create for myself. And then we as Vision Board Media come in and we say, all right, how can we make you that future version of yourself so all of these things will manifest and become true? And we start to create all of the materials and the branding and all of those deliverables to make it easier to manifest all of it.
What's the power of vision board?
Yeah. So that, so when we get to what is the vision board, I have a vision board. I think some people have vision boards. Maybe, I don't know if a lot of people do, but it's a really great exercise, to say, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Because if you don't have that goal, if you don't have that vision, you can't create a path to it. You're just sort of floating in life. So to say, this is what I want to accomplish. This is who I want to be. This is what I want to surround myself with. This is what I want my life to be. You can become very intentional and very deliberate, and you know that you're making the right strides to get there.
You make marketing sound so fun.
Thank you.
I like that. No, it's because it should be. I think people overthink a lot of things, including marketing. This picture, that picture, those words. I'll change these words. I'll use AI. All that. I'm kind of Italian, throwing spaghetti on the wall, but that's okay. So when you work with people, what is one of the biggest things that you see change with them?
What's the biggest? Well, there's the confidence. It's they come out of our sessions so much more confident in who they are and what they bring to the table. They're able to articulate their story like they weren't before. And ultimately, things change for our clients. They find board seats, speaking opportunities. They get equity in companies. They find investors. They find partnerships. It's crazy what happens, but really it's not crazy at all. This is what happens when you're deliberate and you're intentional and you're stating exactly what it is that you want, and you're putting yourself out there to get noticed and found. These are the right things that happen. So in some ways, what is it that they achieve? They achieve their dreams, their lives change. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
This is how you scale. Audience, what she just said is scaling. Because I could do a transaction today and it's a $10,000 transaction. I work with them, I coach them. But if I get to speak to 1,000 people every week or twice a month or 10,000 people, whatever it may be, now I get to expose myself to multiple people instead of just one. And of the 1,000, you get 10%. That's 100 new clients.
Yeah.
Or 10, 20 new clients or whatever it may be. I love that. We're coming up to a segment here. If a vision board is done incorrectly, will it screw up your whole marketing?
I don't know if it'll screw up your marketing, but will it screw up your life? I will say this. I knew I knew this gentleman. This was years ago. And he was showing me his vision board. Sounds insane. But he's like, I have a vision board. I want you to see it. And I looked at it and I said, but there's a lot here that you've already accomplished. And he's like, yeah, well, it makes me feel good to see that. I said, but it's holding you back. You've got to remove the things that you've accomplished. And so, is it going to, maybe if you have a vision board for your company, it could screw things up. But I think, for your own self, you really do want to keep looking at it and make sure that it's future forward and it's not holding you back. And things do change, and you might be looking at it. And if there's something there that's disruptive, that doesn't align, it could throw everything off.
Yeah. That's a great story. My question kind of was going a different direction, but what a great story. Think about that. No, because I didn't think about it. I mean, that's cool. He's got on his wall that he got a Lamborghini, but okay, you got it. You can always remember that. You see the Lamborghini because you have it. Yeah. Put up something you don't have is kind of what you're saying, right? Or maybe what you are saying.
Yeah, you need to keep updating it. You've got to keep updating it. And I even recalled, it was like maybe 2 years ago. I was feeling a little stuck. Like I didn't know what it was, but I just felt this like, something's not right. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to take Friday off. And I'm going to spend time really working on my vision board. I'm going to spend some time journaling and try to see what feels off, and is there a block, or is there something that's just not right? And it was a really good exercise because I was able to look at it and say, you know what, a lot of this is stuff that I wanted to do, but I don't really want to do it anymore. I've changed, and it's time to remove things and really start to think about, what else do I want to accomplish? What else is out there?
Yeah, that's fantastic. And audience, there's a LinkedIn /makeover.com link. If you want to learn more about LinkedIn and how to do that, jump on that link. She's so wonderful. This is a servant heart. She'll answer your questions. I'll get her contact info. But I want to make sure I made a note of that. Let's take a break. I want Donna to go out and get some water. She's been talking the whole time, and I've been stopping her. But let's give her a break. We'll be back in 3 to 5 minutes. See you in a minute. We are back to Together We Serve. And I love people like Donna who are serving us with such great education and tips. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's talking about. And that's why I love having her. Let's bring her back. Donna, welcome back. Segment 2.
Thank you for having me.
You've been such a great host, a guest. I've been a great host. Kidding, hon. It's kind of. But, I was thinking about vision boards on the break. And, how does somebody get started doing a vision board?
I think it was easier back in the day when you had tons of magazines laying around that you could look at and then cut around and then post it on your wall. It's a little harder now. Well, maybe not, as long as you have a printer. And what I do of late is, if I'm going to vision board, I try to come up with a concept that I'm trying to achieve in my life. And then I try to imagine what a picture would be that would illustrate that. And then I do a Google search and I print it out. I cut it and then I put it onto my vision board. I don't think you need to get overly, intimidated or, am I doing it right or wrong? As long as you're finding images that illustrate where you want to go, they resonate with you, and you can put them out there. I have a big frame. It's like a corkboard frame, and I just pin it up there, and sometimes I'll shuffle it around, trying to figure out the best way of showcasing it. But that's what I do. And I think actually now with AI, you could probably even ask, AI to generate an image. It just dawned on me just now that wouldn't be a bad way of going as well.
Yeah, I love that idea. That's where AI is good, is put your brain into the AI and like, I want a house on the hill that's blue with 4 bedrooms, da, 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 and there it is, and you throw it on your wall.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned AI, but before we get to that, I've heard people talk about this in Facebook groups and community and networking groups I'm part of. Should vision boards be digital or physical, or does it matter?
I had a client who said to me that the way he vision boards is he uses PowerPoint. And so he creates a PowerPoint presentation and he finds the images and he just, copies and pastes them into a PowerPoint presentation. He's not constrained to just one slide. He might do like 3 or 4 slides. And then he puts in a bed of music that he finds, uplifting. And every morning he goes through this PowerPoint presentation, slide after slide after slide after slide. And that worked really well for him. And so, the idea here is you want to harness your dreams. But you want to also, make them into something that's almost like tangible, right? It's something that you can see, maybe not, it's something that's visual. And it's something that you look at and you try to find that, leverage to get you there. So it doesn't have to be paper. It doesn't have to be on your wall. It could be, a PowerPoint presentation. One year I actually created a desktop background for my computer and for my mobile phone. And so every time I would look down, I'd see my vision board.
What a great idea. I'm going to work on that. Yeah, because we have those in our hands, our tablets and all that stuff in our hands all the time. So when we open our lock screens, it shows us that. So really it kind of works both ways, just depending on how you feel. Again, customized to you. There's no wrong or right way doing this.
No, there really isn't.
That's so cool. Man, great tip. Hey, audience, boy, that's a free tip for you. I've ever heard one. Great tip. So the technology elephant.
Oh, wait, you want to hear another vision board? That's a good one?
Yeah.
Oh, it just dawned on me that another client told me this one. And this one's really out there, but awesome. So my client had said to me that whenever he has like a really huge undertaking that he wants to, this like a really big goal, he goes to the liquor store and he buys a very expensive bottle of champagne. He loves champagne. Now, if you love something else, maybe if you love bourbon, buy a bottle of bourbon. It doesn't have to be champagne. Whatever is your. And again, it doesn't even have to be liquor. What would be a fabulous reward for yourself. For him, it was champagne, and he would get this big bottle and he'd put it in his refrigerator, and over the label he would write his goal, that vision. And every time he opens up that refrigerator door to get the milk, to get the butter, to get whatever it is, he sees it. And he said, how many times a day do you open up that refrigerator? Probably, quite a few times, hopefully. And he'd see that goal. That was his vision board. It was that bottle of champagne. And he said, and what the piece that he loved the most is when he would accomplish it and he would take it out finally and open it up and pour himself that drink. He said, never was there any finer taste in the world than the taste of that champagne that really symbolized the goal that he had accomplished.
Donna, that is fabulous. That is, because I'm thinking, I'm not a drinker. Right away, I don't drink chocolate milk, but I love chocolate milk. I could just put a chocolate milk carton up there and put a label on it that says, my project is 1 million subscribers to my TV show. My goal is 6, and put it there. And then every time I open the refrigerator, and my wife's kids and my wife, and in his case, people open it. Hey, Dad, remember you got that goal. So you got now.
But the thing is, it has to be something that's not going to decay before the goal is achieved. So
yeah, good point. Okay, see, she corrected me again. I love.
No, I don't mean to be correcting, but it is. I don't want you to say chocolate. Maybe chocolate milk for a real easy. Maybe something that's you're struggling with, but you need to achieve before.
Great idea.
Before it goes bad.
I want to work out 5 days in a week. That's my goal. I do it. Drink the chocolate milk. There you go. See, audience, this is why she's on here. Really, not just correcting me, but this is what a good coach, a good entrepreneur does, but finds answers. Hey, you could do this, but you know what? Here's how you do it. And it's important to me because I'm learning that too, and I'm kind of getting that skill. I'm getting better because I love that, because we want to help people. Together we serve, and serving is helping and learning. That's the other way you can serve. Here's the elephant in the technology room is AI. There's great things about it. There's not so great things. What's your thought on AI with marketing and branding?
Oh, I think it's a game changer. It's going to revolutionize everything. And there's nothing we can do about it. The toothpaste is out of the tube here. But at the same time, a woman that I admire greatly, she's been a mentor and a friend to me. Her name is Lee Hayes, and she had said to me, she said the one thing about AI is it doesn't care, but people care, and that's why you can't discount the human being. And I really do believe that is true. So with AI and with all of the technology, I'm still believing and rooting for the human being with all of it. And I do see it as a tool. And I have seen how you can use AI, but if you don't have the bigger picture, and if you don't have the knowledge and you don't have the vision, it doesn't matter what AI creates. It's not going to be all that great. So it's there and it's going to make life easier for us, but you still have to wield it in the right type of a way. And so that's been my one real big epiphany with all of it. It's yes, it's there, and yeah, people can use it to write a LinkedIn profile or write a blog post or whatever it might be, create a resume. But just because AI created it doesn't mean that it's the best and it's pointed in the right direction and that it's helping you and it's getting you where you want to go. So I still believe that there's room for us who do branding, who do marketing. I think even, I know just recently they showed on, I think it was today on the Today Show, they were talking about how there was this uproar over the Toys R Us commercial because it was totally AI generated. But, in some ways you can look at that and say there was still someone at the helm, probably a number of people at the helm who produced it. So, it's not like there's just, it's just doing it. It still needs guidance. It still needs, and I don't think people are going to go away from that equation.
Well, let's stay on this because I don't know this story, and maybe some people in the audience, when they listen to this, tell the story about this. I'm very intrigued now. I didn't hear this.
Oh
But
yeah, it was just on the Today Show, and I did not follow up and do any additional
yeah,
research. So
that's
so
okay.
understand that. But um, they showed, and apparently Toys R Us is back. I thought they were I thought
Yeah.
they were a defunct toy store brand, but apparently they're coming back. And as an introduction, a reintroduction to the brand, they put out a commercial, and it's a commercial. It looks kind of AI-ish, I got to tell you. It has that
Yeah.
shiny quality. Um, but the commercial, it's quite long. It's like 3 minutes long, and it tells
Mm.
the story of the man who invented it and what his vision was and how the stores, came to be, and it sort of gets us back to here we are now. But the video, this commercial is entirely created utilizing AI. So there
Mm.
weren't any actors, it was all AI crafted or generated. And apparently there was a little bit of an uproar within the entertainment industry that, hey, this isn't right. You didn't use any people, you didn't use,
Uh,
it was purely AI driven. Again, it's I don't know if it's going to be the most memorable commercial, but
yeah.
I do think it's the direction that we're going. We've got to figure out how we're going to use it.
Yeah.
And and will there be roles that are made redundant? Yeah. But back when the automobiles came out, there were a heck of a lot of veterinarians who worked with the horses, and they had to find another place for their talents, and they did. And that's what's going to happen to all of us. But I also don't want to totally discount the human being here. I think someone still needs to wield it, because it's not a magic wand. It's really more a tool.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. Just think of it as a tool, like any other tool. The internet was a tool.
Mhm.
It's gone bad and it's gone great. And that just happens in this world of people. Humans, we
Yeah.
tend to do that. So I love that. I want to pull this link up. It caught my eye going over information you sent me. ReadySetU.com, a site for
Yeah.
branding for students. I'm so excited to hear more, because I think students need more help now than ever. I'm glad you agree. I thought you
Yeah.
would. And so talk about what you're doing with students.
Yeah, I started that business with Dion Carrick, who works with me at Vision Board Media. She's our general manager of operations, and it was around 2017. She said, "We're doing all this to help executives, but what about students? And if executives are struggling, what hope do students have in telling their story and putting out forth the right type of branding?" And she was the one that really said, we need to launch their careers, and how can we do it? And so we decided on readysetu.com, and we recently we rebranded not that long ago. But it really is, it's giving students the tools and the expertise that we've forged working with executives, and it's something that I think very few of them know that they even can tap into. I know myself, back when I was a student, and even when I was a young professional, I truly thought these executives just somehow won the lottery, that they were magically promoted to these top positions. I didn't realize that they had an aim, and they worked towards forwarding themselves in their career, that they were really the captains of their career. They weren't just passengers, just gliding through. And
Mhm.
so, that's really what we're helping them make sure that they're telling the right story, and that they're really getting the right first jump out of college, because that first position is going to really, it means so much. And I mean, ultimately it could be millions of dollars if you think landing well in the very beginning versus, kind of wandering and making a whole bunch of bad moves. So it's something I'm very, very proud of.
You should be. It's powerful. And what are the benefits students going to get from this learning, this education?
Well, hopefully it's going to get them exactly that. It's a career launch pad, and
Oh, okay.
it's
Great.
going to get them that first great position that they can then build upon and start a fabulous trajectory of their career.
I love it. That's so good. Let's get a little personal. I want to know Donna deeper. And it's not so deep, but the next question will be.
Okay.
What is your favorite piece of marketing piece you've ever seen?
My favorite marketing piece
Or
I've
something
ever
recently caught your eye?
seen. Mm. Oh gosh, I should have something really quick. When you said the marketing piece, I've got to tell you, like the very first thing my head thought about was that Coca-Cola commercial from the 70s and all of those hippies on the mountains singing, I want to buy the world a Coke. I mean, does it get any better that it's still inside of me? Like, how great was that? That was lightning in a bottle right there. And I think all of us want to create something that's just so iconic like that.
Well, in the world, when you start talking about the world, now you're talking about people getting heart-centered.
Yeah.
Get a Coke to help change the world. It's like, that beats my heart. I love that. It's funny how we think of these things, that it's all our emotions that bring us to it. That's why I wanted to ask you that.
It was so heartwarming, wasn't it? It really was like the most heartwarming commercial ever.
Well, I'm much older than you, so I remember it as an older person. No, I'm kidding. Kind of kidding. I am older. But I love that, because that's kind of the point because I think marketing is all about emotion. Can you bring emotion out of people, right? And it did that with you. I want to get super personal. This is a great question I came up with that people are loving. So you're going to a restaurant.
Okay.
It's a 4-top. So you're going to sit one seat. You have 3 empty seats. Who would sit in those seats, dead or alive, and why? And what food would you order for the table?
So I'd want my father there. He's passed back in 2011. So I would want him there. I think I'd like to talk to Tony Robbins. I think he's a fascinating guy. I would love to have him as the number 3 there. And then the 4th person, my goodness gracious, who would I want on the number 4? I don't know, maybe my sister. I think that would be nice.
With family. I like it. With a little bit of...
like Tony Robbins. Let's just put him in there because,
Well, I mean, can you imagine? You can ask him any question, but
yeah,
one-on-one, it would be fantastic. Like him or not, I mean, it doesn't matter. This is all about why you would want somebody there and, what you're thinking about that. I mean, some ladies yesterday said Ruth Bader, I can't say it.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yeah.
And then the opposite, I guess she had always fighting with another judge, Supreme Court judge, but they go out to opera. So they leave.
Oh, yes.
I just learned that story. Those two, I'm like, that's great. I think the third one was Genghis Khan. I'm like, I love that because it's unique. I want to learn about his strategies. I'd love to know his strategies. So it's cool. Man, what a great show. We're coming to the end here. First, before I forget, besides the websites, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can absolutely pick up the phone and call me, which is kind of crazy, but my phone number is all over all of our websites. All of the websites, there's my phone number. And I always say, just pick up the phone and call. It's also very easy to get on my calendar. I give everybody 15 minutes. I think that's important. And of course you can find me on LinkedIn, and I pay for LinkedIn. I'm one of those crazy people who've upgraded. But with an upgrade, I get open profile, which means anyone who is on LinkedIn can message me, and we don't have to be first degree or, connections, as long as you're a member of LinkedIn and you find my profile, you can message me. And so, you can do that.
And you can see her name. You see it pop up on the websites and everything. Thank you so much. This has been a great show. I've learned a lot. I can't wait to start doing my chocolate milk vision board
with short term goals.
Can remember short term, something short. So thank you again. And any last words you want to leave the audience?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me, Steve. I appreciate it. You are such a servant leader and heart led, and I love that about you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. And everybody, we'll see you on the next episode of Together We Serve next Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. I was going to tell you who the guest is, but I'll surprise you when you come on. Come on, ask your questions. If not, also this will be on YouTube, so if you want to comment on it, any comments will go right to Donna, so you can connect with her as well. And as always, thank you very much. Me and Donna so appreciate you watching or listening to this TV show, and we look forward to seeing you on the next Together We Serve.